Hi, I'd like to borrow some money, please.
Okay, that's no problem, sir, but just so you know, we're gonna charge you interest on the money that we loan you.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Hi, we're calling to inform you that we're going to need to borrow money out of your paycheck each week.
Okay, but are you at least going to pay me back?
Sure, we'll pay you back in about a year or so.
All right, are you going to be paying me interest on this money?
No.
What's happening, Frugal Fam? My name is Mike, and I hope you enjoyed the intro that you just watched. I figured tax season is among us, so why not make a video to give you guys some ideas of what you should and should not do with your tax refund this year. But first, if you're new here, I just want to welcome you to the channel. I post new videos every Wednesday talking about a variety of topics that all have to do with saving money.
And since the April 15 deadline for filing your taxes is still a ways away, I figured before I give you my thoughts on how you should spend your tax return this year, I thought it might be fun to create a list of just the opposite of how not to spend your tax return. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you should not be doing with your tax return this year. Alright, the first thing that you should not be doing is getting a tax refund in the first place.
But Mike, isn't that free money from the government? Why wouldn't you want that?
Well, that's actually incorrect. The reason that you're getting a tax return in the first place is because you overpaid on your income tax. And then the state or federal government is refunding you the amount that you originally overpaid. Think of it this way, you are essentially lending the government money.
I'll take that.
Which they then use to help fund public services such as schools, hospitals, and law enforcement. And then any federal income taxes that you overpaid gets returned to you the following year at an interest rate of 0%. AKA, you gave the government an interest-free loan. Do you think any bank or credit card company would let you borrow money and then not charge you any interest payments?
Absolutely not.
So this tax season, if you get a large tax return, then that most likely means that your W-4 that's on file with your employer is not up to date and too much money is being withheld from your paycheck. And if you're unsure if this applies to you or not, you can always visit the IRS website and fill out one of their tools that's called the Tax Withholding Estimator. This tool takes about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out, and it shows you an estimation of whether you should expect to receive a refund this year or are expected to pay taxes for the current tax year.
In my opinion, I want it to be as close to the break-even point as possible. If anything, I would actually prefer to owe taxes to the government, as that's more money I get to keep in my paycheck and can use that to put towards any high-interest debt I may have, such as credit card bills or personal loan debt. But that's just my perspective. I'm not a CPA.
I'm just a random dude on the internet.
So if you want professional help adjusting your W-4, then you can always reach out to your local CPA and ask them to adjust your payroll withholding so you can get more money back each week in your paycheck. And if you are expecting a tax refund this year, then the second thing that you should not be doing with this money is letting it sit in your bank's checking account. Now, I understand the importance of liquidity and being able to access your money immediately to pay for things like bills and unexpected emergencies. But checking accounts have extremely low interest rates, and they're not going to help your money grow over time. And to illustrate this, we can use my bank as an example. So here you can see 4 different products that my bank offers to customers. In terms of liquidity, the most accessible account is going to be your checking account. And then the least accessible account is going to be the certificate of deposit, where you have to let that money sit for at least 12 months, or else your bank will charge you an early withdrawal fee. And so without going into too much detail, if we were to deposit money into one of these 4 accounts, and then that initial deposit continued to grow a little bit every day or month, depending on which account we used, then after a 1-year time period, we would expect our overall rate of return for our original deposit to grow by the rates that are highlighted on the screen.
And so it looks like the average refund for tax year 2019 was about $2,535. And if you took that amount and deposited it into one of these 4 accounts and then let it sit for 1 year, then it looks like you would make between $1 and $76 depending on what account you used. And so the point I'm trying to make here is by depositing your tax refund into your checking account, not only will you be tempted to spend that money, but also you will not be taking advantage of some of the higher interest savings accounts that your bank offers. After all, a return of $6 is still better than a return of $1. And my recommendation out of all the accounts that I just showed you is to put your tax refund into a money market savings account to take advantage of the higher annual rate of return. Now, one thing to be mindful of is usually with these accounts, your bank will only let you withdraw money up to 6 times per month. So as long as you're not withdrawing daily from this account, then the money market savings account is definitely the way to go. After all, a $10 return is still way better than a $1 return that you would get with a checking account. And the third thing that you should not be doing with your tax refund is to make a large purchase on something that's going to put you into more debt later down the road. So what do I mean by this? I mean using your $2,500 tax refund on a down payment on a car that you can't afford. And as an example, most people when buying cars think they can get a cheaper price by offering cash to the dealer. However, in reality, this is not the case. Car dealerships actually prefer buyers who finance their vehicles as they get to profit on the interest payments made on the car each month. And if you've ever been in the military or know someone who was in the military, it's not a coincidence to see a bunch of car dealerships that are conveniently set up right outside of military bases. They do this because they know there's a lot of young 18-year-olds that join the military, and this is probably the first time in their lives when they're actually making decent money each month. I know when I was in the Navy, I saw a lot of younger people that would take their enlistment bonuses that they received from joining the military and then spend it all on a fancy sports car that they couldn't afford. And then usually after the first 6 months of financing the car, they would have to return it to the dealership because they couldn't afford the monthly payments on the car anymore. And so the point here is, if you are expecting to receive a tax refund this season, then do not spend it on something that's going to invite brand new debt into your life, such as a fancy car or a large electronics purchase. There's definitely a bunch of better ways to spend your tax refund this season, which will help you get one step closer towards reaching your financial goals, such as eventually becoming debt-free. And now that you know how not to spend your tax refund this season, I'll have to make a part 2 to this video to give you my thoughts on how you should be spending your tax refund instead. And so I'll end this video on a question for you guys regarding vacations. Since we've all been cooped up inside for the past year now because of... And since this video is about how not to spend your tax return, my question for you guys is it okay to spend your tax return on a future vacation for either yourselves or your family, taking into consideration your mental health and then all the costs that are associated with travel, food, and lodging? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below.
And as always,
Stay frugal, fam.
Hey guys, I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button right above me. And then check out my other videos, which I'll have listed on this side of your screen. We'll see you next time, Frugal Fam.